Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
How many of you would like to become a scientist if you get a chance? Okay, very happy to hear that. That is why you are here. So we have to start thinking like a scientist. Even if you don't end up being a scientist, this is good for life. So it's a life skill. Scientific thinking is a life skill. So let's start with an exercise. Take a deep breath. Breathe out. And now stay for 5 seconds without thinking anything. You can open your eyes, no problem. Stay for 5 seconds without thinking anything. How many were successful? Okay. I will tell you what you are thinking right now. Shall I tell you what you are thinking right now? How will this fellow know that I have not thought for 5 seconds? Right? So, even if you were not thinking anything, then you were very happy because I asked you to do that. So, you will be thinking, no, I am not thinking about anything. You get my point? So, thinking is not as easy as you thought. It comes bundled with your laptop computer, but it is not as easy as you thought of. Let's look at how scientists think. Look at each one of them. Each one of them tells you something about thinking. What does the first picture tell you about thinking? You have to take bath occasionally, at least once in several months. What does the second one tell you? Who is that? It's written there. So that's what comes to your mind when you talk about thinking like a scientist. How do scientists think is a question. This is how scientists think. And in the next 1 hour, we will have some taste of it, how scientists think. Anybody knows about this statue? Have you seen this picture of the statue? Yeah, please tell the class about that statue, whatever you know. Huh? Oh, you just see. Okay. What does it depict according to you? Anyway, you have seen and you remember it. What does it tell you? Deep thinking, yeah. This is, there is a very nice story about it. Let's go back to 17th century, before 17th century. What was the philosophy at that time about thinking? I am, therefore I think. That was the philosophy in 17th century. I exist, therefore I think. Is it clear? Then, a philosopher called Descartes appeared in 17th century. He was born in some time in 17th century. Descartes was a philosopher, a mathematician, and whatever you call. Those days all were one. Later only people separated into different branches of science and engineering. Descartes, have you heard of him? Cartesian geometry. He is the person who discovered Cartesian geometry. So that is Descartes. And this statue is in respect. This is by Rodin, and this is made in respect as a memorial for Descartes, deep thinking. Why? What is the connection with Cartesian geometry and thinking? Of course, you have to think, then only you can do well in Cartesian geometry. But Descartes as a philosopher made another statement. I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I exist. Homework number 1, please note down. What is the difference between I am and I think, therefore I think, and I think, therefore I am? So that is the 17th century wisdom. We can do it later. We can think of it later. That is the 17th century wisdom. What is he thinking about? It's a puzzle. What is he thinking about? Huh? What not? No, this is not I wrote. I don't know what the original artist meant. So this is what happened. So we are in 17th century. After 17th century, Cartesian, Descartes came. Now let's go to the 20th century, 21st century. We are in 21st century. Can you make a similar statement suitable for 20th century? How do you think in 20th century, 21st century, 22nd century? Existences become very different over the centuries. And this, because we do it many times a day or something like that. And we think like this nowadays. ChatGPT thinks for us. We don't even think. Natural thinking has got become artificial thinking all the way. What is thinking like a scientist involved? Is the next question. I will show it with a few pictures. And you have to tell me what you learned from each picture. Of course, I have written something there. That is. Think of the wheel. Wheel was a fantastic invention, right? The wheel. Everything revolves around the wheel today. Okay? So this is whatever you learned from it, I have written there. You have to think of alternatives. You don't have time. You are all busy students preparing for JEE and all that. You don't have time to think, right? When do we have time to think? Mahatma Gandhi, during his last days, he was very busy. You know, he was a very busy person. People were trying to kill each other. He has to go and stop it. Prime Minister, President, Russian President, American President, everybody wants to visit him. He's editing 2 or 3 magazines. And all sort of things are going on. Everybody wants his advice just before his death, those years. And one day, he woke up and his secretary came to him. Before that, he has a habit. Every day, 1 hour he will meditate. Then only start anything. So one day he wakes up and asks the secretary, okay, what is the program for today? The secretary comes and tells, sir, today is a very busy day. You have too important things to do. So many important people coming to get your opinion. So many important things happening around. Oh, I see. So, but sir, I have a suggestion. What is your suggestion? You skip the meditation today 1 hour. Then you will get 1 hour. You will be relaxed. Then you know what Mahatma Gandhi said? If I have too important things to do today, I shall meditate for 2 hours. So if you don't have time for thinking, that is why you should think. If you don't have pure thinking, just leave 10 minutes every day for pure thinking, nothing, just thinking. Left to yourself. Not what the teacher is asking you or whatever other things. Not what the WhatsApp message is asking you to take a video and post, but this. How was the wheel discovered or invented? Think of those days, how the wheel was. That was one of the hostel of those days. One of the IIT hostels those days. So there are, of course you know this, you have heard this, I'm sure. There is a lot of planning and design behind every invention and discovery. Quite a lot. There are 3 aspects of research, physics or anything. Theory, the basic concepts, ideas. Experiment, you test it out or observe something, change the parameters, see what is happening. That is experiment. What else? Simulation, computer simulation. Things which cannot be done easily in an experiment. For example, I want to do some experiment with gold. How gold will, if I add gold to a dielectric, what will happen? I don't know whether to add 10% or 1% or whatever percent. So what do? Buy a lot of gold and try 1%, 2%, 3%. No. I go to simulation and ask, do an experiment on the computer. What is the ideal amount of gold I have to add? This is not a joke. This is actually from a research paper. But I will not go into that. My point is, simulation helps you in many cases where the actual experiment is difficult, dangerous, costly, you may do a simulation. Even otherwise, okay, you observe something. You want to have a deeper analysis of that. So you do a simulation. So there are three things: theory, experiment, and simulation. They are all sides of the same coin. Yeah.
The simulation we do is based on the mathematical modeling we make for the phenomena.
Yeah.
The mathematical modeling itself depends on our understanding.
Correct.
So generally we do experiments not to verify our understanding, but to see if our understanding is correct or not.
Yes.
So simulating the experiment does not serve any purpose.
Oh, no, it is not. Don't say it doesn't serve any purpose. It serves a lot of purpose. I am telling all these are required in general in the right proportion. Some work like Einstein's arriving at E equal to mc square had only theory in that. Theory is the fundamental thing to start with. From theory, okay, sometimes suddenly you observe something. Okay, you change the parameters in your experiment. So experiment starts there. Then you want to connect all the things together and make sense of what is happening. That is where all these are important in the right proportion. The important thing is we have to go from knowledge to wisdom, or one step back: information, knowledge, wisdom. What is the difference between information, knowledge, and wisdom? You all have heard all this. You have thought about this. You have some idea about what it is, right? These three. Say something about the difference or commonality between these two. Shall I call Venkateswaran GM? Venkateswaran? Yeah. What is your idea about it? Just tell your idea about any one of these three. I mean, what is the difference? I want to compare and contrast.
Information is some raw data, while
Raw data,
knowledge is the understanding we get from the raw data.
Yeah. So some refined data becomes information. You start with data. Data is some tables, figures, and all that. Then you go to arrange it. You arrange it and get information. When you Google, you are at the level of information. And when you want to make a computer program, to make a website, you want to make a website, you are at the level of knowledge. You need some knowledge to do that. And finally, you decide to give up computers, you are at the level of wisdom. I mean, don't take it seriously, but what is it actually? We have information. What is information? Organized data. And then you do comparison, testing, various things. And then it becomes knowledge. And finally, all of the above plus experience gives you wisdom. Einstein said, what remains with you even after you leave school is knowledge. You learn a lot of things in school and you forget. Naturally, human beings forget. But even after you leave the school, there is something in you, and that is knowledge or wisdom. That leads you to knowledge and wisdom. This is a deeper subject. I am just looking at the surface of that. And this is actually called Bloom's taxonomy. All your teachers know it. Teachers have been trained in this during their teacher training education. All your teachers have been trained in this. What it says is, the lowest is remember, understand, apply, and allow. And then you go up, apply. You apply your knowledge. You analyze with models and all that. Then you evaluate, is this solution better than that solution? And then finally you create a computer program, a theoretical edifice, or a practical experiment, or a technological innovation. So that is the level. Don't stop there. Don't stop there when you hear something. You have to take it up. An example will help you to understand this. What does it tell you? The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. And knowledge plus imagination will give you wisdom. That's what Einstein said. So whenever you look at anything, please think of this. You have to go to the higher level of, forget all those details. If you just look at the information or data, you are at a low level. When you are able to apply, you are at a better level. And finally, when you are able to create or design something, you are at the top level. And why am I talking about this topic? What is our question? How do scientists think? Scientists think up. And then you have technological innovations happening around it. So at this point, I thought somebody will stop me and ask, sir, whatever you are saying, all that is only for the topper of the class or those who come to IIT or something like that. What about me, the common, ordinary person? I hope many of you will come to IIT, but what about the common student? Reasonably average and reasonably good student. Can you become a genius? Can all of you become a genius? Can all of us have scientific thinking? Or is it only for some gifted people? I know that I can never sing a song. I have given up. I hope in this gathering there will not be too many people who have given up becoming a scientist or thinking, a genius. But till the year 1926, everybody in the world, all intellectuals, everybody, believed that only some people can become genius. Not everybody can become genius and achieve success in life. And that is decided before you were born, in your mental makeup or whatever. That was the belief before 1926. And in 1926, a very smart young lady published a paper. She is a scientist working in psychology. She is a researcher, doctor. And she published a paper and several books and papers afterwards. What did that paper say? She analyzed creativity and innovation. Is creativity an innate talent and genius? Or can it result from hard work and dedication? Can you become a genius? Whatever way your brain is presently, can you hope to become a genius? Because that is, I have to tell at the beginning itself, otherwise that is the point in talking about becoming a genius. She did research on it. She worked in the Central Mental Hygiene Clinic in Stanford University, USA. And her, whatever she has written in different, these are all research papers, researched with unquestionable data and analysis. And what is the conclusion? If I were to compress all this into one sentence, high intelligence along with greatest degrees of persistence is more rewarding than the highest intelligence along with lower degrees of perseverance. And you have heard that nobody has used the fullest of the brain power. What is the number? Some 10% or something? You just make 10.1% by hard work. You are up above many of. So please remember that. It is already proven, scientifically proven that you can become a genius. You can improve your thinking. And you can become a scientist. You can have scientific thinking. Whatever you have, whatever you think about your present status, your brain, doesn't matter if the topper gets 99.999 or not. I will tell you a secret. It is not the fellow who comes with top JE rank who always gets the medal finally. There were studies, people studied data analysis, and they found that there is no correlation even to the first few ranks at the time of entering IIT and leaving IIT. Okay, that's a different matter, but the point is everybody can. You can beat the. So that's the hope I want to give you at the very beginning. Okay, so you're all convinced that you can become a genius. Give us some tools. How to become a genius. So I will give you several examples and you can pick up from that. So the first thing you have to do to become a genius is take bath like Archimedes. Then there is a problem in Kerala and Tamil Nadu and all that. What is the problem? Two problems. First problem, we don't have apple trees. So how do we become genius? Second problem, we have coconut trees and palm trees. So becoming genius is a dangerous issue. So what do you think about it? Do you become lucky? You get some inspiration? You get lucky? Yeah, everyone has lucky moments, unlucky moments and all that. If I get time, I will make all of you lucky before the talk ends. But Louis Pasteur said, chance favors only a prepared mind. Luck favors only a prepared mind. There was one fellow who wanted to become very rich. So he found a very nice method. Every morning, very deeply he invokes God and prays to the God. Give me the first prize in lottery. He kept on praying it. He kept on praying it for so hard that finally God appeared before him. And then you think he gave him the first prize in lottery? No. God scolded him. You fellow, first go and buy a ticket. So what do you learn from this? You will be lucky, you have luck. But then when luck comes to you, you have to be prepared for it. There is no excuse for your buying a ticket. Are we buying the ticket? How to buy tickets? That's what we are looking at next. Let's have some chemistry. I'm sure all of you are familiar with this, or does organic chemistry come in the 12th standard? You are familiar with this anyway. What is this? It's a series of compounds starting with methane and up to pentane I have written there. What is common to all this? The carbon chain, See, look at the way it goes. One is the bigger brother of the other one. C. So this is C1, this is C2, this is C3, C4, C5. Scientists were very happy to see this because properties and structure are related. Structure of a molecule and its properties are related. So they could predict how will ethane behave. Looking at methane and ethane, they could predict how propane will behave. Not exactly the same, but there are some commonalities. There are some ways it will not behave at all, given the structure. First point, structure and properties are related. Second point, if there is structural similarity, there are some points of similarity in the properties also. So chemists were very happy. They were discovering things one by one, several years back, hundreds of years back. And then came, this is the next one, hexane. This is also the bigger brother of those things. And then you have pentane, heptane, octane, nonane, and decane. All these compounds. So it's all well understood. But then scientists suddenly discovered a material which has got very different properties from all these. And they, by that whatever measurements they did, they found that it is nothing but C6H6. What is this? So carbon, 6 carbon, hydrogen is hung everywhere. So 6 carbons and 6 hydrogen is the only thing which that compound has. So 6 carbons means they were thinking only like this. And they were not able to, if 6 carbons are sitting like this, you won't have the properties of benzene. And then came Kekulé. Anybody knows the story? Yeah. Can you tell the class?
The story goes that in his dream he saw a snake eating his own tail.
Ah.
And so from that he came to the psychic stuff.
Yeah. So the first point, he was always worried about this. He was worried about the structure of benzene. How are the 6 carbons going to stay? Hydrogen is not important. It can be put. But how will the 6, how can there be a compound C6H6? And their properties are very different from hexane. So something has to be different. And he wrote in his diary, he fell into a dream and molecules started dancing in front of him in the dream. And they had the shape of a snake, and then this is what he saw, the dream. If I saw that dream, I would have been terrified and run to the psychologist or something. But what did he do? And that became history. Was it accidental? Is it luck? Yes, it is luck. We all dream. We all see snakes. But why did he get that? The subconscious mind helped him because he was working on it. Luck favors don't forget that. Luck favors only a prepared mind. Prepared mind. That is, you will get lottery only if you buy a ticket. This I have already explained. Right? You all know this. This sewing machine. Think of a sewing machine. I'm sure you all have seen hand swing. Maybe some of you know how to stitch a small hand swing. And the needle for hand swing. How does the needle work? There is a tip at one end and a hole at the other end. However, machines, let's go to again 17th century, 18th century. Machines were being made. The scientific revolution, technology revolution was going on. And then people made machines by imitating what human beings were doing. Some machines could do. That is how the initial machines came up. But the toughest one was the sewing machine. You can never make a sewing machine, especially in those years, you can never make a sewing machine which will do what your grandmother does, the way the stitching is done. That is a very tough technological problem. And many people tried to make this machine. And this Elias Howe was the scientist, one of the scientists working on that, and he had a dream. In his dream, some savages caught hold of him and said, the king said, you make a sewing machine or we will kill you. And then they all came to him with a spears in their hands. And all of the spears had a tip and a hole near the tip. What did he learn? You cannot make sewing machine with the old kind of needle. It would have, just imagine if sewing machine was not discovered, how will all live? But fortunately there is a break, and that's where a sewing machine works. You cannot make a machine the way your grandmother works, but this way you can make it. This is how it makes. And what is the main difference? There is a hole next to the tip, unlike the hand sewing needle, where the hole is on the back. So that is it. Who is that? What I am giving you now is some tips. You can get learn something from all these genius who taught. Very complicated problem. You can search and find out the kind of problems Ramanujan did. You know about the famous story. Hardy invited Ramanujan to England, and then the very first or second day he landed up, many scientists, many mathematicians came to him and started asking very tough questions. They wanted to tease him. They asked him questions which were not answered by hundreds of years regarding number theory. He will say, let me think. And next day, he comes and gives the answer, which nobody could solve for hundreds of years. There were several of them. You can find out from his. And then they asked him, how did you manage it? You tell us also the secret. How did you solve this? He became a celebrity. Only newspapers were there, not this TV and all that at that time. So they came and asked him, tell us the secret. How did you arrive at the solution? And what did he say? You know, the goddess came to my dream and wrote it on the board. We hear of a lot of gods and goddesses in all religions. But there is only one God who can go to a blackboard and write integrals, series and all that. There is only one goddess who can do it. And that, now let me go to another aspect of the problem. There was a drama. There was a movie, but this was not highlighted in the movie. There was a drama, Partition, by Americans. This was made by Americans, and they only had it. They staged it even in IIT1. So I have seen the drama. That's why you can believe it. So this is, and in this drama, this is about Ramanujan's life and some fun. It's an example of how mathematics can be made fun. You think a drama about mathematician will be boring? No, it's not. This, okay, anyway, we are not talking about the drama as such, but one aspect of the drama. This was staged all over the world, written by Americans, and there is only one female character in the drama. And this character is not Ramanujan's mother, not his sister, not his wife. Then who it is? Not what you are thinking about. It is, the only female character in the drama is the goddess of Namakal. She is the one who comes and writes on the board. So, where is Namakal? Where is this Namakal? Shall we all go and start praying? We want to become genius. We want to become Scientists, shall we all go to Namakkal and start praying? Suppose you write a letter to God as Namakkal. I want to become a genius. The letter will come back to you with a change in address, spelling mistake. The God is not at Namakkal. There is a spelling mistake. It is Namakol. God is sitting in Namakol, not in Namakkal. In other words, it's not that one particular God can do integration and you go to that God and you become genius. It's again luck favoring a prepared mind. Luck favoring a prepared mind. That's what it is. Go to Feynman. I'm giving you several examples. And Feynman, Richard Feynman, he was talking in a class, in a maybe +2 class, he was talking to them. He asked the question, why does a toy dog move? You know the toy dog. In those days, there were not too many battery-driven toys. You have to wind the toy. Have you seen, anybody seen that toys you have to wind? So the question is, why does a toy dog move? And the answer Feynman gave, it moves because the sun is shining. Can anybody justify this? Anyone? Should I call a name? Any volunteer first? Yeah. Yeah, you got it. I have written it there. I'll leave it. So the student said, no. What has to do with sun shining? It moved because I want the spring. Then he said, why are you able to wind up the spring? I have energy. I eat. What do you eat? I eat plants. You may think I eat animals, no problem. But then what do those poor animals eat? Plants. And how does the plant work? Because the sun is shining. This is from Feynman. So that is called different thinking. Thinking differently from whatever you know. So this is an example of that. Now, what will you do now? When you go home, you call your younger brother, sister, cousin and ask him or her, prove that the bullock cart is a nuclear powered vehicle. Just one more step. Prove that the bullock cart is a nuclear vehicle. What is the last step? Yeah, sun itself. That reminds me, you all know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Fantastic. But there is a problem. First, they don't twinkle. Then why do they appear like twinkling? Anybody knows? It's just our atmosphere. There is a fluctuating gases going on there. So the refractive index changes and you see because of that distance, you see as if it is twinkling. Twinkle, so twinkle is out. Twinkle, twinkle, little. Little? You know how huge they are? You know how huge they are? Are they little? And finally, star. Are they star or nuclear bombs? So let's change you go to the next cousin who is younger than that and tell him, I will teach you this nursery rhyme. Horrible, terrible nuclear bombs. When you look up what you are saying is this. So that's a different thinking differently from what you have. Now, you must tell your parents or teachers to buy this book and read it, not only tell them to buy. Whoever. I think it's not even a very costly book. I bought it from some second-hand shop here when I was doing my MSc here. I got it for some 20 rupees or something. There is 40 years back. So it's available. It's not costly. You tell your parents and you tell your teacher, the school must buy 100 copies of that and make everyone read it, at least the science students. Why you should read it? First point, it is very interesting, very funny. It's not something about a theoretical physicist. It's very funny, very interesting. Look at the title itself and look at the subtitle, The Adventures of a Curious Character. That's what it says. He was a very mischievous boy. Even after growing up, he was very mischievous. So as a mischievous boy, what all he was trying around? And that will give you a flavor of scientific thinking or thinking differently. I will give you another example from the famous book, The Feynman Lectures in Physics. And that is the concept of speed or velocity. Have you been taught calculus? Yes, okay, then you understand what I am talking about. A professor is driving a car. The speed limit is 60 kilometers. And the professor is driving at 70 because he is a bit late for the lecture. Then there was one student who failed in his subject. And because he failed, he could become only a police constable, traffic constable. And the traffic constable stops, now he has a chance to take revenge. Sir, I am arresting you. Why are you arresting me? Because you are going at 65 kilometers per hour. 65 kilometers, you know that the college is only 1 kilometer from here. What is your problem? And I am not going for 1 hour. I have to be there in 5 minutes. No, sir. If you go at this rate, you will cover 65 kilometers after 1 hour. The policeman explained. Then, what are you talking about? If I go like this, I will hit against the tree. I cannot go like this. There is a tree there. The road takes a turn. He becomes very annoyed. Sir, don't try all those tricks to me. You will definitely cover 65 kilometers after 1 hour. Oh, that's why you are arresting me. Then please come after 1 hour. And if I covered 65 kilometers, you can arrest. Then this fellow gets annoyed. The policeman gets annoyed. Never annoy a policeman. He heats and says, at this instant you are going at 65 kilometers per hour. Then the professor heats twice. At this instant I am not going anywhere. At time t equal to t1, x equal to x1. I am not going anywhere at this instant. So how do you explain? Can anybody give a nice explanation to the policeman? Should I call him in?
Because the person is stopped when the policeman stops.
If you stop at the zero, speed is zero. Who wants to volunteer? What will you tell him? What if, suppose somebody argues with you like this. See, arguing and answering is a trick for improving your brain. Okay, I think if I spend more time on each one of them, I will be able to give you less number of interesting things. So I will give you many interesting things. You can digest it later. You can put it in your mind and think of it later and digest it. Okay. So where are we? Yeah. So what you should answer is this. Consider a small distance delta x which you are covering in small time delta t, and then take the limit as delta t tends to 0. Then you are going at, that is what is called speed or velocity. This is how he introduces calculus, use of calculus to find velocity in the Feynman's lectures. If you enjoyed this, what should you do? Not go to the cousin and trouble again. You should read Feynman's lectures full, all the 3 books. Vacation is a nice time to do that. There are many more interesting things in it. Even if you can't read it full, at least read whatever you like in that. Okay. Then this is the other book. This is about his adventures in the latter life, second half of his life. If you read this, definitely you will buy that and also read. Look at the title again. And that something about the huge disaster where the satellite fell down and all those things, and how he was able to find out. The whole scientist team could not find out what went wrong. And then it was Feynman who found it by looking at a very, very small, minute thing. And such things are there in this book. First, start with that book. Note down both these names and ask your teacher to buy these books for your school. Arvind Gupta, some of you might know, he was an IITian. He is an IITian. But then he had a fantastic job, well-paying multinational company. He left all that, and now, not now, even for the last 30 years, he is only spreading science to the villages. He has written books, Wonder from Waste, The Magic of Indian Toys, the joy of Indian toys and all that. And look at those examples. Each one costs less than 10 rupee. And all that, these experiments will show you great principles of physics. Not only physics, chemistry, biology. So just look at Arvind Gupta and don't worry about even the punctuation. Just search for Arvind Gupta. You will see hundreds of videos, hundreds of PowerPoints, hundreds of books. And that will tell you, you can do it tomorrow onwards. You can, during your vacation, you can do that. You can make some of these things. Can you not make such a thing? You need very crude thing, only waste. And you can create wonder out of it. And in the process, you learn. You think with your fingers. Thinking with your fingers is important. So please note down. Don't forget it. Look for Arvind Gupta. Read some of the books he has kept, wonderful books he has kept, children's books and all sort of things. And he has told you how to make toys. Toys, physics experiments, chemistry experiments, biology experiments, wonderful things. That will really change your way of thinking. What do you do when you are in trouble? Give up? Have a good look. That's what you should do when you are in trouble. Think differently. Think scientifically. Think like a genius. And then you will escape out of trouble. For that I will give you more examples. You all know this story, right? I did not tell this story. The hare and tortoise ran a race, and hare spent time looking at WhatsApp and videos and Instagram and whatever, and then tortoise got the scholarship. That's the story we all of you know, right? Now, what does it tell you, and what is the lesson from this? Various types of distractions are there everywhere. You just go to any channel and surf the TV or look into any of your messages or groups. You will be lost. You can't come out of it because there are too many addictions, too many different kinds of addictions. I'm not going to list all of them because some of them may not have some of the addiction, and because I tell, oh, I will try that. I don't want you to get into that. Okay, so I'm not going to name all that. There are very horrible addictions out there, and there are huge mafias who want you to get into the addiction. They are trying to capture you into the addiction. These are only some minor examples. These are only some minor examples of addictions. And what will happen? Habit. Once you form a habit, what is the problem with just one? The problem is habit. Suppose you form a habit. You try to remove a habit. You remove H. Still a bit is there. You remove B. You remove, what is the next? A. Then a bit is there. You remove B also. Still it is there. Yes? Right? So it's very difficult to remove a habit. And you have a choice. We have a choice. We all have a choice. Hare or tortoise, which one do you want to become? And what is the choice? You all have something fantastic. You were all born, in college people are given a computer and all that by the education thing. But, you're all given a wonderful computer. You're all given a wonderful computer. It is very difficult to maintain that computer, very difficult to make it excellent and think one more person and become a genius. That is difficult. And what is easy? Suppose somebody breaks up your skull and looks at that thing, what is there? What will you find? It's a smelly, dirty piece of meat. You want to convert it into a supercomputer, or do you want to convert it into a dirty, smelly piece of meat worth nothing? You have a choice. You have a choice. You can do that with your brain. The important thing I want to tell you is that you have a choice. And whenever you look at, come across any of those addictions, which I have listed and I have not listed, please remember this. Please remember this picture. I am hypnotizing all of you. You will remember this picture. Because we are talking about how to become better in this. So let's go to the story. What are the other solutions for this? How can the tortoise win? You cannot hope to win because of the other fellow's stupidity. That's what happened here, right? But you cannot, in life, you cannot hope to win because the other fellow is stupid. Then, how do you solve it? Let's solve it. Look at it very carefully. Ready? Is it possible? How do you solve that? That is happening in the labs all over. You might have visited several labs. You are doing projects. What you are doing is thinking like a scientist in all that. Solving problems. And that is what this whole thing is about. Let's go to a story. There was one captain in a ship. And what happens in all those older ship stories? In all the ship stories, old ship stories, they start with a big bang, and then they go to an island, then suddenly there is a storm and all that, and Titanic sinks, and then they go to a place. And then the story starts. So the same thing happened to our professor, our captain. And he went to a place where cannibals, you know what cannibals eat? Cannibals wanted to fry him. So they wanted to kill him. They wanted to eat him. Okay? So they want to cook, captain cook. A dangerous situation. How do you escape from the situation? He said, no, you can't burn me. I am a famous captain all over the world. After Columbus, my name is next and all that. Then these people said, nothing. But then finally, he was telling so much that he is such a great gift to humanity that they decided to give him a choice. They gave him a choice. You can make one statement. You make one statement. If that statement is true, we will roast you. If that statement is false, we will fry you. That's the only choice we can give you. Then, I don't like tragedies, So the story goes that he made a statement. And then they left him free. They had to leave him free. This is how it can save you from grave situations, literally grave situations. What is the statement he made? Of course, you can't get it just very, very easily unless you heard it earlier. So I will tell you that. He said, "You will fry me." The statement is, "You will fry me." So what is the problem? Fry him. Then what happens? The statement becomes, as you said, true. And if it is true, they should only roast him. Okay, what is the problem? He said, you will, then roast him. If they roast him, then it becomes false. So this becomes true only if this is false. So they can roast him only if they fry him. And they can fry him only if they roast him. So they had left. It only happens in stories, not with mad people around. This is the famous Russell's paradox. If you are fascinated by this, you can look up Russell's paradox later. This is called the Postman paradox or Barber paradox or Russell's paradox or whatever. And that, once you read those, you will get some more idea of thinking, different kinds of thinking that you have. Is this statement true or false? Do you know that statements can be there which are neither true nor false? Is this true or false? It is true only if it is false. It is true only if the sentence is false. Then only it becomes true. And is it false? If it is false, then it is true. Think. I want you to shake up your neck top. Now you tell. Let's see who are intelligent here. What are the 3 mistakes in this sentence? I'm sure all of you found 2 by now. What are the 3 mistakes in this, 3 errors in this sentence? What? The third mistake is that there are only two mistakes. There are no three mistakes in this. Okay? What is the unit of power? Raymond Sullivan has written a book whose cover looks like this. Logical puzzles. These are called logical puzzles. There are lateral puzzles and logical puzzles and all that. All those puzzles will look up some logical puzzles and lateral thinking puzzles somewhere, and you will get a lot of idea about how to think differently. Let's talk some physics now. I am telling a situation. I release a ball. If I release something, what will happen? If I release that, this will fall down. Correct? All of you agree. So I am telling you, I released a ball and it went up. Explain. Yeah, one answer. Animation, no, it really happened. Huh? Oh, stationary or lift. Okay, now I understand. Okay. There are many answers. You already told some answers. I will, any different answer? No. Observer is upside down, but not really. Okay, the answer is, I just said I released a ball. I didn't say what is inside. It can be hydrogen, helium. That is one answer, easy answer. Another answer, suppose it is air. No. I didn't say where I am standing. I just said I released. I am standing at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean and I release the ball. Where will it go? Down or up? So think differently. Think different aspects of the same problem. A convex lens. You know from pre-KG, LKG onwards that convex lens will focus light, converge light. Any doubt? Now, I want to use it as a diverging lens. Biconvex lens. I should have said biconvex lens. Even otherwise. Yeah, that is the point. You don't think of immersing oil and putting something else in the lens and all that. Very easy. See here, look here, very clear. This is converging. I want to make it as diverging. Who asked you to stand within the focus? Actually, this is a part of an experiment in science, in physics. In research in physics, we do use this method. Okay, now I have the final few. Okay, this I will come back to later. Some smart thinking examples, some more smart thinking. Rahim's mother had 4 sons, and first one is called Salman, Shah Rukh, second one, third one Amir. What will be the name of the next one? Yeah, these are silly puzzles which students ask in school. I have 101 rupees in my pocket. I have 101 rupees in my pocket. I have only 2 notes, no coins, nothing else, only 2 notes. And one of them is not a 1 rupee note. For example, 50, 51, 2 notes, but that's not possible. You know that it is not possible. One of them is not a 1 rupee note. Fantastic. I said one of them is not a 100 rupee note. The other one is a 100 rupee note. Think differently. We are talking about thinking like a scientist, thinking differently. This is an old one. Your younger brother knows. Some months have 30 days and some months have 31 days. How many months have 28 days? You know that. There are 6 eggs. There are 6 people, 6 eggs. So they share eggs, you know. But each one took 1. But still there was one left in the basket. There was a basket, 6 eggs. 6 people took 1 each, and still 1 was left in the basket. Is it possible? She took it along with the basket. There is only one, about egg, one more thing. You heard this famous puzzle. Which came first, egg or chicken? Chicken or egg? Which one came first? But where did the chicken come from? Egg. The answer, the school student was asked this question and the student answered, egg comes first, chicken later. Why? Egg comes for breakfast and chicken for dinner. Okay, then there is a railway track. There is a railway track and there are two trains. One is going to south and one is going to north. Only one track. One is going at full speed to north and another one is going to south and they don't collide. One is going to south and one is going to north. Why should they collide? That is one answer. What is the second answer? One goes at 8 o'clock in the morning and the other goes at 8 o'clock in the night. A train goes from Chennai to Trichy, some 350 kilometers. So after the 300 kilometer point of view, this meet. They start at the same time that they meet each other. So which is nearer to Chennai? Which train is nearer to Chennai? Think of it, I am not going to answer it. List 3 consecutive days without using the words Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. There is now some stories. These are not puzzles, some stories. There is a company and a young man joined, young manager joined, and he was a little bit inexperienced. So he went and he called everybody and said, half of you are inefficient and lazy. That is why the company is working like this. Then there is a strike. They said he has insulted us. Then he was made to apologize. So he came back the next day and said, half of you are very efficient and very little. That is why the company is going on like that. The same thing, looking at differently. Perspective, changing the perspective, looking at alternative viewpoints. There are 2 frogs which are drowning in a pot of buttermilk. They give up, nothing can be done. There's a huge one, they can't escape, they can't jump out. So the intelligent frog decides, gone. But the stupid dog, see, intelligent dogs tell the stupid dog, whatever trick you try, you are not going to get out of it. So give up. But the stupid one keeps on jumping around and finally butter forms. Butter forms, it goes on top of butter and jumps. So think of it whenever you are in trouble. Why am I telling you this story? When you are in trouble, think of all possibilities, think differently. Anybody knows this story? There is a village and there is a mountain. On top of the mountain there is a Buddhist monastery. And Buddhist monastery is full of Buddhist monks. You know how Buddhist monks look like. They don't have hair. They remove hair on the head. And then there are 3 gentlemen, 3 people are interviewed by a company. The question given to them, go and sell combs to the Buddhist monks, that monastery. The first fellow goes, he knows from beginning it is not going to work. Then he goes and goes around and he asks some comb, then they get annoyed. Are you going to insult us or what? He gives up, he comes back. But like just he finds one fellow who was scratching his head. He had some scratch in the head. So he said, sir, please use this, you can scratch it very nicely. So he sold 1 comb. And he came back and told the company manager, I sold 1 comb. Oh, very good. Second day, the second fellow goes. Same situation. Second fellow is almost about to give up. Then he observed something. It is on a hilltop. And many people are coming to see the great yogi, great Buddhist monk there. So when they come there, they just don't want to go the way. There is a lot of wind and all their hair is disheveled. They don't want to go like that to the Buddhist monk. So they were trying to arrange their hair before going to the Buddhist. I said, combs. So he sold 100 combs. Because they found it very nice. Oh, just give some 1 rupee or 2 rupees and buy that and go neatly. So he shifted his attention to another part of it. He thought differently and he was able to do that. And then goes the third fellow. And the third fellow goes and the third fellow sells 1 lakh, gets an order of 1 lakh combs from the same place. How? He goes to meet the chief monk. And then he goes, sir, how are you? What is your advice? And so chief monk gives him main advice which they give to people. Oh sir, these are fantastic advices. This should be given to people. We do give to them. But sir, they go and forget about it. That's the problem. Any advice, you all have enough advice. So what I suggest, so what do? You do give them a small memento. When they come to you, you just give them a small memento. It need to be costly and all that. And then you write there some of the principles. In the memento, you can print some nice principle. Then the chief monk thought that's a very good idea. Do you have a suggestion? What kind of memento can you give? Which they use every day. Many times. Comb. So I will give you combs, 1 lakh combs, each printed. Buddha's ideas are printed in that. So he sold 1 lakh combs to Buddhist monks. There were 3 fine students. There was a cricket match going on and students were cutting classes. The principal did not like it. So the principal said, I'll take a few more minutes. I hope it is interesting, so I'll take a few more minutes. The principal said, there is a fine. But the principal is a very kind-hearted principal. So you see, first day if you miss a class, you have to give 10 paise. If you miss the second day also, you have to give square of that, 100 paise. If you miss the third day, you have to give the square of that. How much is that? And then next day, if you miss 5 days, 6 days, you can calculate how much they have to give. Fine. So that is why I said fine student. There are 3 fine students. The first fellow goes and gives, you can calculate how much he has to give after 6 days. The second fellow goes and gives 1 rupee, only 1 rupee. You have to give the last, whatever the final day is, you have to give that much amount. You said 1 rupee, right? Who said 1 rupee? Who said 1 rupee? How did he manage to give 1 rupee? Okay, I will tell for the whole class. Many people have found the idea. I will come to you. Same thing, no? 1 rupee. Or okay, wait. Then wait. There is next level. At this level of the game, 1 rupee. How 1 rupee? 10 paise becomes 100 paise second day, and 100 paise is 1 rupee. Third day, square it 1 rupee. Again square it 1 rupee. Again square it 1 rupee. Now what is your solution? They don't give anything. The 3 fine students. The third student doesn't give any fine. He is not a fine student, but he is the finest student. Because he said, can you argue this? 10 paise. How much is 10 paise? 0.1 rupee. Second is the square of that is? Third is the square of that is? It cannot be given. So he doesn't give. The last puzzle. St. Ives is a beautiful place in Europe, in England. So this is a rhyme about that. I met a man with 7 wives. So now take your pencil and paper. Because each wife had 7 sacks, each sack has 7 cats, and each cat has 7 kids, and cat sacks wives. How many were going to St. Ives? So you have to read the whole poem. So where is the point? These are all to distract you. So you see, after 1 hour you started, all of you have started thinking differently already. You look like this. I know boys are there, but you can understand when I say, you look like this now. Right? You look like this in 2023. I want all of you to close your eyes and imagine how you will look in 2038. Definitely you will look very different. Done? Okay. So you will look like that in 2038. And by the way, who is that? You all know about Marie Curie, her achievements. I need not tell that, you all know. So, what is my take home message which I want to give you? You all become like Curie? That doesn't make sense. I'm sure all of you are not going to, I mean, some of you may get, but definitely not all of you are going to get Nobel Prize. So I'm not telling you should be like Curie, but I'm telling you be at least curious. Done? Can you do that? Can you do that? Yeah. Now, what is the purpose of your life? The purpose of your life is to find the purpose of your life. And which branch of science is important? One day I was waking up, one day I heard a lecture from a very big chemist. He said, chemistry. When you wake up, first you go to the brush and paste, chemistry. Then you drink coffee, chemistry. Then you have breakfast, chemistry. I was thrilled. Oh, I should be working in chemistry. Next day when I was waking up, what do when I wake up? I see things, optics. So I thought, oh, physics is good that I am actually working in optics. So you can see my website. I am working in optics. So, I mean, working means I am going to retire. So, I mean, I should say I have been working. Okay. The next day when I opened up my eyes, I thought, what do I do when I open my eyes? This is a very complicated procedure. You do it just like that many times a day. But think of what happens behind it. Think of you as a machine. It's a very complicated mechanism. And some people have a disease by which you cannot do it very easily. So biology is very important. Most important thing in this, not chemistry or physics, but biology. And next day when I wake up, I am thinking, what do I do when I wake up? I open my eyes. I open my eyes. This is my eye. This is my shirt. This is my body. Then what is I? I thought philosophy is the most important branch of science. Okay. You all know Tamil? All of you know Tamil? Or some of you, most of you know Tamil? My mother tongue is not Tamil, so I will not read it and spoil it. So you can read it. So that is a summary of whatever I have been telling all this time. Thinking differently involves that. Taking from your desktop to your necktop. Downloading or uploading from your desktop to your necktop. That is what this says. That word says, my knowledge in Tamil is not great. So first I thought, my parul means, I translated it in English, my parul. Understanding, I understand. My parul, I understand it. So your journey as a scientist, genius starts right now.